All right, let's go. Hey, welcome back to the stream. I'm John Reed, your host. Mudshark is back to soak up some more knowledge. I don't know about that, but it's good to have you. It's good to share these experiences together, and it might just be you and me. We'll see. But for folks who are watching on the recording, welcome. Do all the YouTube things. If you like this, give it a like. Even if you only watch part of it, heck, on the recording, you can, do it at 2x speed and get the most out of it. But give it a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications as usual. You know the drill. Oh, hey, Bob. Garbob is here too. All right. Well, without further ado, let's dive back into our project, I think. Oh, wait, I have to announce, right? For folks who have already seen on Twitter, that I am coming at you now on a new machine. Very exciting. I asked for advice on Twitter for like what kind of MacBook Pro should I get specifically? How much memory do I need? And I was going to go with a cheaper one, but the response that swayed me was another AppCode user who said, hey, look, max it out, get 64 gig of RAM, and that way you can pump up the volume on AppCode. You can have multiple projects running on AppCode, each with their own memory and Xcode, and never page, like never have the memory swap out to disk. So we'll see what it's like. Of course, we're working in a very small project here. Simon, my gosh, you're up early. And 18 degrees. Well, you see, I'm also dressed warmly today. Although it's the end of winter here. I suppose it's getting towards the end of summer for you, but it's cold in the morning. Good grief, Simon. Welcome. What a diehard to get up at 5 a.m. All right. Well, let's see what we got. What are we working on? We are converting Objective-C to Swift. We're doing it, trying to move carefully. We have tests. And we're creating this new file here. Here we've got some stuff that's commented out. We do have one failure, which is where we left off, because here's my little note to self. I can move this bookmark. That we haven't done the popover yet, which is clearly why we're getting an error in the tests. But I was also trying to figure out, like, wait, why is this down here and why isn't it up here? And that's because I am viewing it by Xcode order. Basically, if I open this project in Xcode, this is the order you would see, but let's not. Let me see it by keeping things together. There we go. So now I've got them. I changed my view so that I can go back and forth more easily between the Swift and the Objective-C, and that should help me. All right, mock popover. What's going on here? Let's have a look at what mock popover is. Let's see what it does. So I create a QCO mock popover presentation controller. You know, I don't think I guess we can leave that. We'll leave that as Objective-C, right? I get all tangled as far as like what's the order of things, but I shouldn't rush ahead and change that. Stay in target and jam it into this. only for iOS. I had to add these because this became useful for folks. I don't know if anyone's using it for tvOS, but you can. You can use this library for tvOS. And there are no popovers in tvOS, but they are. So let's see. Mock popover presentation. I'm just trying to see what's happening here. Does this... There must be something mocking this out. Oh, I bet it's being mocked out now in the Swift side of things. There it is. Okay. I mean, not mocked. I mean swizzled. You know what I mean. All right. So, yeah, what we want is to take this property, and here I can see this is maybe kind of what I need to do. We want to take this popover presentation controller and jam in something else. And to jam in something else, we're going to this, just following this backwards here. This, which says, hey, if you respond to this selector, then return it, and otherwise don't. Let's have a go, step by step, and try to figure out where we are. And since we have failing tests, I know that we are currently still using, I'm getting all twisted here. Sorry about that. I'll find my way. We are currently in this code. And this is what's failing. All right, let's go. So, how do we set up the mock popover? To do that, we really need, this is not the one. We really need to get this in there. And this is essentially, well, let's start here. I don't think I need this commented out code because this is the only thing. I'm just going to pull this up as a, up here. There, that's what we want. Just cleaning it up. So into here, we should be able to drop this. As our reference. So let's start doing this, but as usual, I'm going to start it with a different name. Now, if target so first, here's the first challenge. How do I say iOS only? It's not something I've had to do in Swift before. I mean, they were doing this thing, but that's probably not for me. That's probably for the API. So if something, if what? If, oh, here we go. Thank you, app code. I don't know, Xcode maybe would have helped me also. All right. So this actually, I'm trying to decide about the failing test. Let's disable it. Get to green. Green with 1 disabled. And let's say we're starting. What changed here? Oh, duh. All right, so we're starting the I'm having to do commits by hand like a brute. Instead of the nice TCR system, just because of how this project is laid out funny. All right, so let's now get back. Sorry for all the switching back and forth. I realize I'm flipping real fast here. Now let's set up a computed property. That's going to be call this 2, and this is going to be you know, because it returns nil, I'd better do that. That's just to get it to compile. Of course, nothing should fail yet. But I still want to checkpoint this. This is the skeleton of our computed property. We can start filling in things. And hello, other folks who are watching, who have joined since I started. Good to have you. Now let's start putting this stuff in here and say, if self responds to selector, and the selector is like a getter. All right, so getter of, oh my gosh, Diego. Dude. I'm smiling and I'm warm inside to have you join. I wish we could hang out. Deirdre. Geesh. All these friends popping out. Thank you for saying hi. I appreciate it. Wow. Whew. Won't it be nice to get back together again? I really like, there are things about the remote lifestyle that I really like. In particular, I get to stay here and be, well, with you, but I also get to work with clients far away. I get up early to be in the Eastern time zone of the United States. But I really, really, really miss in-person gatherings, conferences. A conference for me is just an excuse to hang out and meet great people like you folks. So it's good to have you. All right. QC, if it responds to QCO mock popover. Okay. So where is this? Yeah. I do hope we can get to that point of COVID just becoming another annoying thing, not catastrophic. So it looks like I need to define, oh, here's the thing. Okay, we can use what we did last time. So in Objective-C, you can, what I'm doing here is I'm adding a thing. It's essentially an extension on UI Alert Controller to say, add some properties. We can't do that in Swift because you can't add properties in Swift. But what I did last time, let me comment this out here, was add this, extra properties. So this is a simple little thing that holds any extra stuff that I want to attach to a UI Alert controller, which I don't own because it's Apple's, and which then I attach, in case you didn't see last time, I attach by calling an Objective-C runtime function to say, hey, set this object onto UI Alert controller with this key so that I can get it back. So let's stick some stuff in here. All right, so we can say if it's iOS, then let's have I'm just reading this and seeing that it's not read-only, so I suppose let me just start here, and we'll clean it up later if the opportunities present themselves. So QCO mock pop over. I'm going to call it 2. All right, this is going to get a little tangled because where before, that's why I was doing this. I'm like, why did I do this weird thing in Objective-C? Why didn't I just like refer to it? And that's because I was jamming in another property. And so that's why I say, oh, well, if you respond to this, then you know what to do. So I probably don't need to do all this stuff. Exactly. This is not what I want to do. Let's proceed down the road. So we have a mock popover 2. Everything should still be green. We're in extra properties. So because it's there, because I've associated it, I should be able to get it out. Let's see where I get this. Okay. So here, when I'm This is to get at the other preferred style. This thing here. In this function, I say, let's get the extra properties, and assuming it all works, return the preferred style. So I kind of need to do something like that. Oh, this is getting tangled. So let me duplicate all this. This is going to be the mock presentation controller. 2. Not this. I'm just going to move some things up now that I've done some discovery. Again, just trying to get back to the point where I can build and run tests. I didn't expect anything to fail because nothing is calling this yet, but I just kind of want to slap this down and say, this is still good. This is still good. I'm moving in small steps. Change my mind. It's from extra properties. So this is still a skeleton of that. But in theory, I should be able to say return the extra properties mock popover 2, right? And really, it doesn't need to be popover 2 because there's not going to be a clash. It's living out here. And it doesn't need to have QCO mock on it. The only reason I had QCO mock on things was there's no namespacing in Objective-C. But stay focused, John. Stay focused. Y'all can have some things. I added some custom thingies like make smaller changes. I also added Kent Beck's face just because. I don't know what this cheer thing is. But you can cheer now to be number 1, whatever that means. Why is this red? Cannot convert. Oh. I may have a problem here. A problem around types. In Objective-C, the typing is really a hint. The runtime doesn't care what you're talking to. As long as it answers the things you ask it, it's fine. And so here we have an error. What am I going to do about this? It says, you know what? This mock popover presentation controller, that is nothing like a UI popover presentation controller. These are the challenges of moving from Objective-C, where you're using some, well, dynamic tricks. These are the things that were easy to do. Swift, to its credit, makes it hard to do bad things. So, define everything as any question, maybe. But yeah, I feel like there's gonna, I think that's a good idea, Diego. Like maybe I can say, yeah, it's any, and then swap in something else. This is going to get tricky. Oh, you're just joking? I don't know. No, I didn't. Not everything. I didn't take you seriously about everything. But I wonder if there's some way to do that. To say, well, you're getting any. You are such a. I'm such a. I'm so naive. I'm very gullible. Y'all can joke at my expense, but I love it when you do because you're my friends. All right. This is a challenge. We can't do this yet. And in order to swizzle in a replacement, let's look at what we're replacing. But in order to swizzle in a replacement, you know, the types have to match. Oh, Swift. I wish you'd give me an escape hatch. Well, let's see what escape hatches we can find. Yikes. These are the challenges. All right, let's look at mock popover. Optional any can be used as anything. It's like void pointer, so maybe can be used as a placeholder. Maybe. Maybe. Let's have a look at what it is. An empty implementation. Oh, right. It's been a long time since I've looked at this. Here's what it says. Same. These are my comments. This is the same as UI Popover presentation controller, but changing the arrow direction to read write. There's our clue. And that gives me a clue for how to do this. Basically, I didn't have to swizzle this last time. I could just say, yeah, talk to this. And you know what? All the API is the same, except I changed arrow direction. This here. This is read only. And I changed it to read write. Everything else is like a straight copy. So I think I'm going to have to do the same thing that we did, which is to take this, unfortunately, swizzle it, and attach extra properties so I can jam in the arrow direction. Basically, what I want to do, it's not exactly a mock, but it's a spy. I want my tests to find out, hey, is the arrow direction correct? I want to jam stuff in there. All right. Oh, yeah. This gets deeper and deeper. That's okay. All right. So this is kind of like Mikado method. If you're not familiar with that, the book is this is a good book. Quite honestly, I think that the idea is it's almost too much. That is, I think the book could have been shorter, but then it's not as appealing and marketable, right? It's like half of it is about the Mikado method, and another half of it is illustrating, sort of trying to use this as a hook to say, oh, well, if you really want to do the Mikado method well, here are the extreme programming principles. So it's a little bit of trickery there, but the idea is very intuitive. Basically, you try to make a change, you discover, oh, there's a precondition. All right, then I'm going to work on the precondition first. And if you discover that precondition has another precondition, well, then you sort of roll everything back and work from the leaves, as it were, the very end points of the dependency graph. But I think we're okay. All I've done here is disable this, and here I just added this line here. So let us begin the next layer. And I don't know if my overhead is still active. Oh, it is. That's always the risk. But let me just make these notes so I don't lose them. Right, so we want to kind of the old is mock popover presentation controller. Except it's a copy of the UI popover blah blah blah, except for we need some way to record the arrow direction. Here, I'll make this bigger. So what I need is to swizzle. I need to attach extra properties, or one extra property, but I'm going to follow the same pattern to UI popover presentation controller with swizzled arrow direction. Man, I never would have predicted this. But now I know what I have to do. Hope this is making some sense. Any questions? This isn't a class. This is exploring. Why do I have... I'm just laughing because these are copies of a straight copy of the Apple source comments, and because I have a grammar checker, it's like, this is getting a little too difficult to read. It's kind of funny. Okay, so extra properties it is, and we're going to start creating. I'm going to create it in here. Again, things may not live in here. But it's where I'll start. So let's create something very much like this, except it's going to be for Popover. Duplicate. This is going to be UI. Popover presentation controller. Extra properties. I'm going to follow the same pattern. And what we want, I think, oops. Oh, sorry. Thank you. That better? Should be better. Thank you, thank you. I forget. One of these days, I'm going to get myself an iPad. Believe it or not, I don't have one. There's one in the house. It's my wife's. She uses it like she stopped using a computer, like a laptop, and her life is now on an iPad, which is great for her. But I don't have one. But it would be kind of nice to have something where I can see. Like I'm working on one big monitor here, so I can't see what you're seeing except when I pop it down on my phone to see the scene preview. Anyway, let's see here. Thanks for alerting me. Maybe I should start there and say, here's an empty thing, and we're going to attach it. Let's do that. Let's see where I did this attaching. So this is a initializer, a convenience initializer on UI Popover. So I wonder if I can add an extension on, not exception, extension on UI Popover presentation controller, which does something like this. I don't want it to have any extra things. So this is going to be the challenge. I want to create it. Init is unavailable. Okay, what's it supposed to be? Not that. Don't tell me. There is no init. Well, let's go up. Up. There it is. Presented view controller, presented and presenting. I'm getting a little nervous because I've been unable to build for some time now. This is when I start getting squirmy. So I want something like this, except with a different name. I'm just going to do this just so it compiles. And we're going to call self init the real one. Presented and presenting. This is the thing, though. I'm not sure I want to make it. We're going to learn, I think I need to learn a little more about how to make this. Well, keep going. All right. Are we back? Are we back in any position to run tests? Good. Another wondering I have is I'm kind of used to the simulator not popping forward every time I run tests. That's sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know when that changes and why. I thought AppCode did a better job of saying, you know what, don't bring it to the front. And that's why I made it so tiny and out of the way. All right, let's get this in place. This is really freaking me out. Start. Start adding extra properties to UI Popover, so I can replace arrow direction. This is getting tricky. All right, so if I create it with this 2, then I should be able to associate this with it. You could check the simulator's keep on top setting. Yeah, I did. And it's not on. So, a little annoyance. Okay, so before I start adding extra properties into this popover presentation, extra properties, let's see about making a popover presentation controller with our special convenience initializer here. And this would happen here. Where are we? I am inside of the breadcrumbs here at the bottom show me that I'm inside of UI alert controller, inside of my initializer. And that seems like a good place where if it's iOS, then I want to create the extra properties and maybe do some extra stuff there. And put it into Popover. Let's see if we can do this. How you all doing? I'm getting a little tired because this is a lot of brain work and I'm not able to switch off to you folks. Whoops. All right, so let's start making UI Popover presentation controller, except we're going to call this. Now the question is, what do I put in here? The presented is going to be the UI alert controller. So this is going to be self. The presenting, I don't know. Maybe I don't care. And this is not being kept in anything. Can I stick it into UI alert controller? Let's find out. Let's look for Popover. Where is it? Where the heck is... Maybe I can stick it in the extra properties if I need to. Popover presentation controller. Hang on a second. I'm going to find my way there. Okay, this is the thing. It's in there. And this is swizzled currently by the Swift version, I believe. Yes, right here. And here it is. This is what we want to replace. Okay, so probably I don't have to, and this is inside of, what? UI view controller. Oh. So probably I can stick it in here. Let's try. Oh, except it's get. Crap. Crap. It's read only. The layers keep going. This gets worse and worse. This shows how easy and why folks who like dynamic programming and the ability to just replace stuff, why it was so easy in Objective-C. Swift, with all of its nice safety measures, those same safety measures make other things hard. And if you've never done just saying, you know, talk to this instead of that dynamically, then you've never felt the need for it. But now I'm feeling the pain. Okay, so it's going to go into, we're going to use the same trick to swizzle this to something in extra properties. And that's what we're going to do. Got it. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, and I'm going to stop soon because my brain, my poor brain. Ay, ay, ay. All right. So the UI alert controller extra properties. It may not, I may not need, well, let's just start putting things in and we'll find out what's going on. So this is going to have, let me just make sure I'm still green here. We're going to add an extra property. I can do this. I can do this. instead of this, I'm going to have it be not exactly Popover, but here, let me try again. Instead of QCO mock Popover, this is going to be a real thing that we can replace. And maybe it can be a let, but I want to create this in somewhere in here. Come on. I don't know. I want to create this with the UI alert controller itself, so I think I'm going to have to pass it in. All right. Small steps. Let's change this signature and pass in the alert controller. And let's see what I need to change here. So this is going to be passing in self. And that's still good. All right. Ooh, so many F bang bangs here. So I pass the alert controller to its extra properties so that, are you confused yet? Because I sure as hell am. So that inside of here, I should be able to say, this is the presented view controller is the alert controller, and the presenting is who cares. And this goes into, can I do that? Self dot not needed, so it's grayed out. I'll remove it. Oh yeah. Create mock popover in alert extra properties. Deeper and deeper and deeper we go. Where will this stop? Nobody knows, but I'm getting tired, and we will stop soon. Don't worry. This has been very confusing. And things that I may not need. Well, we started down one way, and I think I still have some leftovers from the old way. And we're switching to the new way. All right. So we create, I no longer need, since I'm passing in the alert controller, I no longer need to pass in its style, because I should be able to say alert controller dot preferred style. Let's see if this still works. Okay, it does. Oh, no, it do not. It do not like that at all. Abort. Wow, it did not like that at all. Did it not like it because UI alert? Why? Let's see if we can resolve this in the next few minutes. If not, we'll pick it up from here. So my attempt here, let me just this is what I want and what did not work. Why didn't it work? What's going on? Well, we'll set a debugger breakpoint and find out. You notice how little I use the debugger? There was one episode where I got thoroughly tangled, and that's probably because I suck at debugging. But here we are. Let me just see what we have. Okay, we're running tests. We're coming up to blah, blah, blah. Okay, we're going to execute an action for a button. And it's going to show an alert, which creates an alert controller, which is going to call our swizzled thing. So inside of here, oh, wait a second. This is now, I'm attempting to do this inside of the extra properties. So this is now, I think, garbage, but it should be harmless garbage. Shouldn't it? Let me try again with a breakpoint on creating the extra properties themselves. And I don't think we need this. And I'm here already. I thought I would hit the other breakpoint first. Since preferred style is an extra property, isn't there some special way to get its value? Well, it's being passed in to the extra property. Second, let me take a look here again. All right. Execute action, show an alert, create an alert controller. So far, so good. Start making this thing. And preferred style is alert. Associated object key is extra properties, but where's alert controller? Why am I not seeing it here? I do PO out of old habit. I should probably switch, but I haven't really learned how or what to. I mean, is it PV? Or is it P? Or is it V? But it's not finding this. That's odd. Is it because it's still being made? It would seem that it's because it's still being made. Maybe. That self hasn't resolved? Oh no. I'm going to have to draw this out. Because there's too much stuff and it's all pointing at each other. And it looks like my guess is that self isn't all there. No, self, this isn't where it comes from. It comes from here, and self already exists, I think. Okay, my brain is full. Clear. My brain is full. Our tests are still green. Let's see what we have. It's like the Far Side, right? Remember the Far Side of excuse me, teacher. Let's check this stuff in. I don't want to lose it. And nice thing about disabled tests is that it actually shows as disabled. So trying but failing to simplify to pass in. That's probably good enough. Whoo! Okay, I'm tired. What's one interesting thing? I'm listening to my computer. You can't hear it. And you normally can't hear it anyway because I've got my sound conditioning and I've got some extra filters on OBS. And I've got a good microphone. But I'm listening for that fan and I hear nothing. So that's nice. That's nice. All right. Thanks for joining. That's enough for one day. We'll come back next time. I think I'm going to have to draw out what the heck is going on here because we're getting lost. If we were working on this for real, we'd use a much bigger whiteboard and we would be all over it in person. But nowadays we have virtual whiteboards. So thank you, Rick. I'm glad you were here and could join. Thanks for joining. YouTubers watching this recording, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, bell. And that, my friends, is all. Thank you, Deirdre, for coming by. Very special to have some old friends. And I will stop streaming. Take care, folks.